to flip over to the mandala view. When you're looking at the body graph chart, you'll have that regular one that we were just looking at, but sometimes you get this mandala view, which is like the pretty big circle view, but it also can be like even more overwhelming because like, what is going on? Now it's in a circle. Now there's all sorts of glyphs. So again, we're just going to break this down simply into the sum of its parts. So if we just kind of black out the outer layers of it, this is just the same chart we've been looking at. This is the same exact body graph. It just doesn't have the numbers on the sides. It's just the zoom in of the body graph. And then if we take it out one layer, then now we can see the planetary symbols. So the planetary symbols that we just went over, now you can just see where they exist on that 360-degree wheel. And then further moving out another layer, now you can see the zodiac symbols. And this is just the astrological location, again, within the sky, within that 360 view. Now you can just see both the astrological symbols of the different signs, and then you can see where the planets lie within those signs, which is kind of fun to dive into. And then if we zoom out one layer further, now you can see these 64 gates. So these are the same 64 gates of the I Ching, the same 64 gates that are on all these centers, but now we can see how they move through in like a chronological way around. If you're looking at the sun and the earth, you can see where the sun is moving for the year around the wheel by seeing these 64 gates. And then if we zoom out one layer further, now we can see the hexagrams of the I Ching. So the hexagrams, they're those 6 lines that are either solid or broken. And that's another thing. We're going to be deep diving into the I Ching, into the trigrams, into the hexagrams. We're going to see all of that good stuff. We're going to dive in deeper. But here's just to, again, break down the mandala chart, because, again, I know how confusing it can be to see all of these shapes and numbers and colors. So I just wanted to point it out. This is what it means. And if you just break it down into the sum of its parts, it's not as confusing. And so, yeah, that's how to read a human design chart. That's when, you know, we pointed at all the little different parts of it, and you can obviously go way deeper and there's lots of interpretation to learn. But this, we just wanted to explain the sum of the parts, what they mean, where you can find this stuff, and just make it a little easier and more digestible, because it can be really confusing initially with seeing all of it and not knowing what to do with it.
Everyone will see this is simple enough stuff. It just looks complicated. There's 64 things. They got names. We say a bunch of stuff, and now you know your design. See?
Yeah. That's it.
See, that's it. It's all set. Easy.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Danny?
Not that I can really think of. It's the interplay of the hexagrams with the astrological signs. That was so much magic that came into all of this. And I do adore going over that. And yes, astrology helps beef up part of how you'll read a body graph. It's, you know, there's a certain amount of astrology you can read into this. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like it too, because it's the locations. It's the locations
Yep.
of the planets within the sky without getting like lost in, I don't know, the ritual or the idolization that can kind of come with astrology.
Yes,
Or
yes.
like it gets really confusing as now you're like looking at angles and triangles and stuff like that. And it always kind of, I would get lost on it. Whereas like human design, I feel like it just takes all of it, synthesizes it, and makes it a lot more simple and direct. And it makes it more tangible, and I could really do a lot more with human design than with like straight astrology personally.
The last thing I was going to say, and I don't need the image up there for it, is just the fact that thousands of years ago, when they were coming up with these values for astrology and recognizing, hey, think of what they recognized. And how did they intuit this? It's just so stunning. They recognized that we seem to be affected depending on what planets are in the foreground relative to what constellations are in the background. When we get into the neutrino, and I think we've already gone over what the neutrino is, they were just, in a nutshell, they were recognizing the influence of the neutrino that pours in and becomes affected slightly by the planet it pours through before it reaches us, and we're being minted like a coin at birth. Mm-hmm. They were recognizing that and were able to put it into a form of words, something that later we scientifically said, oh yeah, yep, yep, that's right. Basically, yep, you got it. And pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's human design continually amazes me, and I love going deeper and like understanding it and really breaking it all down, because it's like there's something really beautiful. And again, like it's so intricate. Like it's definitely brought me closer to the divine. It's brought me closer to God because I can see how intricate and precise it is. And it's like, oh, it's not a mistake. Like I'm not a mistake. You're not a mistake. None of our viewers are mistakes. Like this is all so purposeful. Like if there's a program, there's a programmer. Like
Yes, yes.
something, whatever you want to call it, you, God, the universe, the
No,
divine,
God,
the Big
God's a
Bang, whatever you want to call
sure.
it, whatever works for you. Like something created us, something loves us enough to create us in such a beautiful and intricate way. Like it really just like causes pause and appreciation and gratitude, and just that like awareness of like it's not a mistake. You're not a mistake. This is all really precise and divine and beautiful. And I just feel so lucky we get to
How
peer behind the curtain and get any glimpse of it. And it just offers so much context and solace. You know, when things are going weird, I can look at like what's going on with the human design, what's going on with the transits, and I can go, oh, okay, it's a little weird because some energy is going around, but it's going to be okay. You
just
know?
think of what we could say just in the world generally with the fact that we came into 36 and 6. I mean, so much gets revealed by all of it is the thing. And yeah, God really knocked it out of the park with this one. Is like here's a self-replicating, self-working design. And when you guys have enough words and a little bit of science language, I'll show it to you so you can like so you can not covet it and try and make everyone else not have it while you have it. You know, I mean, when the world is ready, when we're intelligent enough, which is now, we're already becoming the 100th monkey on all of that. So
And how do you
it,
just you work with the design? I just think that's really beautiful. Like you were designed in a specific and beautiful, precise way. I was designed in a beautiful and specific and precise way. And how do I work with it? You know, it's, I like to think of human design chart as like how a cardiologist would look at the circulatory system. It's like this is the
totally.
way it moves. It moves from the heart, you know, through the arteries. It blood moves around, and then it comes back through the veins to get like recirculated. Like that's how it works. If you try to go the other way, you're going to have a bad time. Like if you try to go the opposite direction in which the blood moves or any part of your body and how it's supposed to work, you're going to have a weird bad time. And it's really cool with human design because it's the energetics and it's giving understanding to the intangible. It's a scientific exploration of something that is intangible, but also real. And if you can learn to work within your design as an individual, as a couple, as a group, as a family, whatever combinations, you can just flow. You can work with the flow of the universe. You can work with the nature of the universe. And I just think that's really, really neat and really pretty.
It really is. And go figure, we needed it to become a science to finally be able to do that with predictable regularity and reproducible results every time. So